Sports bring out the best in human creativity, competition, and sometimes outright madness. Today, we're diving headfirst into the top 10 weirdest sports in history. You won't believe some of the strange, wacky, and downright insane ways people have turned everyday activities into full-blown competitions. And trust me, you'll want to stay till the end, because our number one pick is so bizarre, it makes other sports look like a walk in the park. 10th, cheese rolling. Let's kick things off with a sport that's as quirky as it is bruising. Cheese rolling. Every year in Gloucestershire, England, people gather at Cooper's Hill for one of the most dangerous and hilarious races known to humanity. The objective? Chase a 9-pound wheel of double Gloucester cheese down an impossibly steep hill. The prize? The cheese itself, and a heap of bruises. Here's the catch. This hill isn't just steep, it's practically vertical. Most participants don't run. They fall, flip, and crash their way down. It's like gravity's ultimate playground. Cheese rolling might look like sheer chaos, but for locals, it's a cherished tradition. Some racers train year-round for their shot at glory. And yes, injuries are common. Broken bones, dislocated shoulders, you name it. But for these fearless competitors, it's all worth it. So are you brave enough to throw yourself into this wild race? Or would you settle for just eating the cheese? 9. Extreme ironing. Think ironing is boring? Extreme ironing is here to prove you wrong. This adrenaline-fueled sport turns the mundane task of pressing clothes into a high-stakes adventure. Competitors carry ironing boards to the most extreme locations imaginable, on cliffs, underwater, and even mid-air during skydives. It's laundry like you've never seen before. Some people iron for convenience. These athletes iron for glory, and the more dangerous the location, the higher the stakes and the bragging rights. Imagine hanging off the side of a mountain, wind howling, your grip slipping, and yet you're still focused on getting those creases out. Talk about multitasking under pressure. It's not just about the ironing, it's about pushing your limits. Extreme ironing combines precision, creativity, and guts. Whether it's a shirt on a mountainside or pants beneath the waves, extreme ironing proves that even the most ordinary tasks can be extraordinary with a touch of adventure. 8. Chess boxing. Brains versus brawn. Chess boxing says, why not both? This hybrid sport is the ultimate test of intellect and endurance, where competitors alternate between boxing rounds and chess games. The goal? Win by checkmate, knockout, or points, whichever comes first. Imagine getting punched in the face, sitting down and trying to think 3 moves ahead. That's chess boxing. Mental agility meets physical toughness. The sport originated in Berlin in the early 2000s and has since gained a cult following. Training for chess boxing isn't easy. You need the strength of a boxer, the stamina of an athlete, and the strategy of a grandmaster. The boxing round throws your focus off completely, so when you sit back down at the chessboard, it's a battle to stay calm. You've got to use your head in more ways than one. 7. Toe wrestling. Next up is a sport that's a totally unique experience. Toe wrestling. This quirky competition began in England in the 1970s and has since become a hilarious yet fiercely competitive event. The concept is simple. 2 opponents lock toes and try to pin each other's foot to the mat. It may sound silly, but toe wrestling takes serious strength and strategy. Champions spend hours conditioning their toes for maximum grip. Forget arm day. This is all about toe day. But it's not just physical, it's mental too. The psychological game is half the battle. Some competitors even try to psych out their opponents with wild antics or intimidation tactics. It's about finding the right angle and staying focused. And yeah, you've got to hope your opponent didn't forget their socks. 6th, bog snorkeling. If you've ever looked at a muddy swamp and thought, I'd love to swim in that, then bog snorkeling is your dream come true. Held annually in Wales, this offbeat sport challenges participants to race through a water-filled trench dug into a bog. But here's the kicker. No traditional swimming strokes allowed. You've got to rely solely on flippers. The rules are simple. Stay in your trench, use only flippers, try not to lose your snorkel in the mud. But the conditions? Less simple. The water is freezing, visibility is 0, the bog's mud can make even the strongest swimmers struggle. Bog snorkeling might look like a laugh. It's a true test of stamina, determination, and a high tolerance for getting dirty. And let's not forget the costumes. Many racers dress up as superheroes, animals, or even vegetables for that extra flair. It's cold, it's messy, and it's exhausting, but it's also the most fun you'll ever have in a swamp. 5th, Quidditch. Harry Potter fans, rejoice. Quidditch has left the pages of fiction and hit the real world. While players can't actually fly, the magic is still alive as teams sprint around on broomsticks, throwing quaffles and dodging bludgers. Oh, and don't forget catching the elusive golden snitch, a player in a bright yellow costume sprinting like their life depends on it. It's like rugby, dodgeball, and tag all rolled into one, but with brooms. It's intense, fast-paced, and so much fun. J.K. Rowling would be proud. Quidditch proves that magic is real if you believe hard enough. Fourth, ferret legging. Ferret legging might just be the weirdest test of endurance you've never heard of. Originating in England, this unusual sport challenges competitors to trap live ferrets in their trousers and endure the chaos for as long as possible. Yes, you heard that right. Ferrets, the sharp-clawed, high-energy little creatures known for being adorable and feisty. The rules: no underwear allowed, and the pants must be tight enough to prevent the ferrets from escaping. Competitors can't sedate or harm the ferrets. The ferrets are under no such obligations. You've got to stay calm. The ferrets can sense fear, and that's when they really start causing trouble. Stay calm with a ferret in your pants. Easier said than done. What is the current world record? Over 5 hours. That's 5 hours of claws, bites, and sheer determination. While it might sound more like a punishment than a sport, ferret legging has its loyal fans who compete year after year. Third, cardboard tube fighting. Grab your duct tape and scissors. It's time for cardboard tube fighting. This sport combines medieval combat with kindergarten arts and crafts. The rules are simple. Destroy your opponent's cardboard tube without breaking your own. But here's where it gets interesting. Some competitors take their cardboard creations very seriously. This took me 3 weeks to design. The key is making it lightweight but durable. The battles are intense, but there's a twist. If your armor breaks, you lose points. Strategy isn't just about offense, it's about defending your precious tube. Imagine knights charging into battle, only their weapons are glorified paper towel rolls. But don't let the materials fool you. Cardboard tube fighting can get surprisingly competitive, with tournaments held across the globe. Second, wife carrying. Marriage is all about teamwork, and no sport proves this better than wife carrying. Originating in Finland, this wild competition sees husbands carrying their wives through a grueling obstacle course filled with mud pits, water traps, and steep hills. But don't be fooled, this sport isn't just for laughs. The competition is fierce, and the stakes, the wife's weight in beer. There are multiple carrying styles: the fireman's carry, the classic piggyback, and the crowd favorite, the Estonian carry, where the wife hangs upside down on her husband's back. Don't knock it, it's all about balance and speed. 1. Octopus Wrestling. And finally, we've arrived at the pinnacle of bizarre sports, Octopus Wrestling. Yes, this was an actual thing. Back in the 1960s, competitors would dive into the ocean and wrestle live octopuses, attempting to drag them to the surface. It sounds like the plot of a sci-fi movie, but for a time, it was wildly popular in parts of the United States. The rules? There weren't many. Divers entered the octopus's territory armed with nothing but their bare hands and sheer determination. The octopus, meanwhile, had 8 arms and 0 patience for human nonsense. Octopus wrestling wasn't just about strength. It required strategy and a deep respect for the ocean's creatures. Competitors had to avoid getting tangled in the octopus's powerful tentacles while navigating the dark, unpredictable underwater world. While the sport eventually faded due to concerns about animal cruelty and conservation, it remains a jaw-dropping chapter in the history of human competition. Octopus wrestling truly earns its place as the weirdest sport of all time. So, which of these wild sports would you try? Or are you sticking to good old soccer? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more mind-blowing content.